This is the way we see it. See it. This is the way we 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 see it. This is. This is the way we see it, see it. This is the way we see it. This is the way we see it. This is the way we see it. This is the way we.
You're listening to PowerPlugRadio, home of your throwback jams.
Yo, this is your boy Cranston Cumberbatch.
And I'm Kawana Norman.
And this is the way we see it. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the house with us on tonight, Mr. Cody Curry.
How we doing?
No relation to Steph Curry, as far as we know, but we'll get into talks about Curry people later. But we got a good show for y'all tonight. We're going to recap some of the shows we've been watching, and we also are going to talk about some newer shows that we're going to get turned on to, because we're going to ask Cody, what shows he's watching. We're going to get into that a little later. But right now, we got to go ahead and take some time out to get some shots out to a few people, and some shots wrong to a few people as well, because we've had some shots that was fired in the wrong way earlier today.
I heard about that.
Yeah, you heard about that. And I'm going to start with the cup that's in my hand right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Polar Cup, and in that Polar Cup is a nice flavored fruit drink that is it's a hit. It's one of those things kids look forward to,
right?
And the kid in me came out today. Mm-hmm. And I passed by and I saw the Polar Cup. And I was like, it was almost like the hot sign at Krispy Kreme.
Right.
And so I pulled over, rushing to go get something else to get ready for the show. Mm-hmm. And I stopped to the Polar Cup. I get the Polar Cup. I take a sip of the Polar Cup. I should have known when I got the instant brain freeze.
Okay.
That because normally you're supposed to get that sip of flavor first.
Yeah. And then the brain freeze.
And then the brain freeze.
Yeah.
But before I could even get the sip of flavor, I got the sip of, oh my gosh, what is going on up in here? I continued to sip just to give it another chance after the freeze subsided. And I gave it a couple more sips, and I'm like, nah, man.
That's why you came in here stressing about it.
I came in stressing, man. I was like, you got to take the Polar Cup off your van and just change it to Fruit Cup.
It ain't nothing like touching into something that's like in your childhood. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm about to feel this all over again. Yeah. It's just not that.
Yeah, it's not. And you know what? And you know what? Let me. Since you said that, you do bring up a good point, because taste buds do change. As you mature and get older, things of that nature, and you introduce your body to some other things. So maybe it tastes the same as it did back then. Maybe my taste buds have changed. Nah, all right. But what I will say is I brought the Polar Cup to the Urban Drinkery, and the Urban Drinkery has changed his Polar Cup to pour me another cup.
All right.
Yes. And we also have some lovely fruity beverages, courtesy of the Urban Drinkery, here on this evening as well. Kawana, would you like to tell the audience what that beverage is that you're sipping on right there?
I would love to tell the audience, but
Okay.
I just know it's delicious.
You just know it's delicious.
Oh,
All right.
it is so
well, we're going to
good.
find out what the name of that drink is.
Yes.
Because, I think, is that a mango in there?
and it's just
Mango Kuba.
It's a mango coolada.
Straight from the islands.
Man, mango coolada. You
Shipped
can't even
in
say
the
that
cup.
without the accent, man. You got to say mango.
Oh.
Mango coolata.
Mango.
Mango coolata.
Mango culata.
Yes, mango coolata, man. You got to get that mango coolata when you come to the Urban Drinkery. Yes, mango coolata. And then, Cody came in with a special request. And Cody, tell him what you asked for.
So I get here. I didn't even know we were drinking only wasn't until Cranston said I need some lick in this Polar Cup. And I'm going to
For
get
my
to
church people watching, when he says lick, what he means is
more taste.
More taste. Just flavor this up better than what it was.
Right.
Praise Jesus.
Because the Polar Cup wasn't quite what it
wasn't
used
hitting,
to be.
right. It wasn't what it used to be. So
it kind of reminds you of like crunch berries. Like you're not eating crunch berries as an adult. It's too sweet.
It's too sweet.
It's too sweet.
Taste buds have changed. So, unless you drink it with a different type of milk.
Right.
Now we drinking like oat milk and almond milk, coconut milk, and 2%. Well, I love 2%.
I love 2%.
But I mean,
if you still out there drinking whole milk, people are gonna judge you, but it's all right. Take your time. You just got to get there. As long as you get there,
Yeah.
So the drink that I requested once I saw that we were gonna be drinking on the podcast was I'm like, hey, can I get let me get a sangria with some lemonade. For those that don't know, I am a lemonade connoisseur. I've tried so many different types of lemonades out there. Everything from Chick-fil-A to all the other lemonades that's out there.
Okay.
So I said, let me get a sangria with lemonade. And the reason why I chose sangria is because it's a red wine.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, red wine has something in there called resveratrol.
Resveratrol. Y'all heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. If you hadn't heard of resveratrol, you just heard about it now, and Cody's about to break it down. Go ahead, Cody.
So what resveratrol is I'm gonna just keep it simple. It's something that's in the sangria and the red wines.
Okay.
And what it does is it slows down the deterioration of your telomeres. The telomere caps is something that as they deteriorate, that's when you start to age a bit faster. So with strong intakes of resveratrol and something else called NMN, if you have both of those, they've been clinically proven or through tested with women, where those that have those two intakes, a good amount of those two intakes, that were going through menopause, it showed that it was reversing the menopause and that they were starting to have their periods again. So
Ladies.
that's why you probably see a lot of old white women sipping on their red wine. They doing it because they know something, y'all. They doing it because they know something.
They
All
know
right.
something. Okay. So is that why, since we talk about shows on this show, is that why Kerry Washington's drinking so much red wine and Scandal? Every show, she's got a.
Well, maybe she knew about this.
She uses it as a de-stressor. But you seen that goblet she's got? She don't have a wine glass. She's got a goblet,
Right.
and she is munching that, not munching, but she is.
Yeah, maybe she knew about
Gulping
it
that
too.
thing
She
down.
just knows something. That's all.
Exactly.
I think
She
she
knows
knows
something.
something.
Yep.
But you know what? I've always been a fan of red wine, as well. So, to know that there are some health benefits.
Some benefits.
Also it's been said, a glass a day can help with keeping you from having heart disease, things of that nature. So there are some benefits, but it's certain types of red wine.
Right.
So, but hey, we're going to do a whole show, and we probably find a show out there that has more red wine in it that we can talk about these things, so you bring us some good stuff, Cody.
It's a classy look too. Just having the red wine.
It is
you
a
got the
classy
glasses
look,
with
yes.
the long neck
It
on
is.
it.
It is.
It's
You're
a
right.
good look. It
is a classy look. I
Put the
have
lights
to.
down and the
Yes.
red wine.
Exactly.
Yes.
Turn the lights down.
Slow down, slow down that aging. Let's get nice and cozy.
Slow down the evening. Slow down the aging. And slow everything down. So yes. So maybe that's why she does it. Carrie,
Right.
Olivia Pope.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she does it as well, to just slow everything down.
Yeah.
You know what? That is
And
why she does it.
It's other shows where you see a lot of them drinking wine.
Red wine, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, all right, and there we go. See, that's why you have good producers.
I'm telling you,
who are
we
able
have
to
the
get
best.
you straight. Right? You know?
Yes.
Y'all don't know Jam, Power Plug Radio. Y'all need to get to know her. She is, like she said, one of the best behind the ones and twos. Matter of fact, give yourself a hand clap, please, Jam. Please, there you go. Yeah, see,
Raise the roof.
Yes,
we gotta raise the roof for that one.
Yes,
it's a real one.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna hop into shows today. So Cody, we've been watching several shows, and we are now into the second season on some of these shows. While we're waiting for some of the shows we started our podcast talking about.
See, I have to tell you something about Cody. Guess what?
What?
He knows nothing about power.
What?
Oh, come on, you gotta put me out there like that.
Man,
I could
we put the Polar Cup man out there. We
could have finessed the whole conversation. She just
What?
Oh man.
I don't say I don't know nothing. I know Kendrick was in it.
Okay.
You know, he got a new album that came out. If you haven't heard it, you need to hear it.
Yes, Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, that album is
know
fire.
50
The
Cent.
music videos that Kendrick has put out as of recent, they are some fire videos.
Yeah,
I
they
gotta
are.
give
Next
props.
level.
Yeah,
Next
they
level
are
for sure.
definitely. I mean, the one where he refaced, he did all the refacing.
Exactly.
The Hearts Part 5.
Yes. That app.
That
video was like really, really good. You know, I was really impressed with how they did that.
Right.
And shouts out. Can we get a shout out to Kendrick Lamar and the videos that he's been putting out?
Kung Fu Kimmy, OK Llama.
All that. Yes.
All that.
Shouts out to him, man.
The whole album.
Way to come back, sir. Way to come
big
back.
stuff.
All right, but so we're gonna hop into our first show of the evening that we've been talking about, which is The Flight Attendant.
Yes.
And The Flight Attendant is in its second season right now, and I finally caught up.
Okay.
And so I do have some room to talk about it. So for those who don't know about The Flight Attendant is about a flight attendant
Exactly.
who actually gets caught up into a kind of scandalous situation of her own through an escapade that she had, to where she heavily drinks. You know, she's still young, so she still likes to wild out. You know, and she's a flight attendant. She gets to travel the world. She gets to experience and see exotic things and places and meet exotic people. And because she's a flight attendant and she's attractive, she has her pick of who she wants to get down with. So
Exactly.
she spares no consequence to those things, and she's living her best life. She's in her roaring 20s.
Yes.
So in that, she's living the dream, living her best life, as Lil Duval would say. And she ain't going back and forth with nobody. She ain't going back and forth with coworkers. She ain't going back and forth with siblings. I mean, she is really doing her thing and has no cares. Right? She's all outside, and she ends up getting caught up in a situation where she has a one night stand, and when she wakes up from this one night stand, or what seems to be a weekend of events of being with this person, she wakes up to him dead in the bed.
Oh, that's stressful.
Yes.
I mean,
What?
Not just dead. He was
Dead.
bloody.
You talking about bloody?
Yes.
Like gory.
Gory.
So he got did up with a wine bottle. Like broken wine bottle, dead to the chest.
Yeah.
Is it one of those situations where she's the killer?
No.
Well,
Oh, you don't know yet?
no, we know. Well, we know. But
we
at
know.
first, you're like, "Whoa, what happened?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you really are like, what happened?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't even know.
Right.
Because, I mean, they were like drinking just that heavy, and then there was drugs involved and all that good stuff. And so there's a lot of, and this is all like first episode. So the build up, this is all first episode, straight out the gate. It's like, whoa, what's going on here?
You all in after the first episode.
Yeah,
You like that.
So, so do we have the flight attendant to show at least some of the movement clips from that? Yeah. So, you guys aren't going to be able to hear any of the audio from the clip, but you'll be able to see what we're talking about in the flight attendant. And as we look at it, we can kind of point out some things as well from the show. Yes. So here's the flight attendant. It's on HBO Max, and this is the gentleman that she bumps into that she ends up having the
Okay, that's the guy. All right.
Yeah, the fling with, and they have a great time. I mean, they are balling out. He's very rich, very rich guy. She hit the jackpot, and here we have where she comes and she wakes up, blood. There's the blood, and she, oh my gosh, no, what happened? And she finds that he is dead, and she now is getting interrogated by the FBI, and he now is visiting her in her subconscious.
Man. Oh no.
You know, so but he's also in her subconscious, kind of helping her get some answers to some questions as to the what happened and how did he get killed, because she didn't do it. And so the whole first season is really about solving the mystery of the murder.
That's a thriller. Yeah. That's quite the thriller. So you're saying the guy that died,
yes,
that she hooked up with, is speaking to her like in
yes.
Yeah.
So do we know if this is like mystical or is she just tripping? Like
She's tripping.
Oh, okay.
Because for the most part, she stays intoxicated.
Right.
So she's always on the brink of, being, out, way out there. So he's definitely talking to her. He's definitely helping her solve his murder.
Yeah.
But she's so, I don't know. I don't know the word for it. That she messes things up a lot of the time.
Yes.
It's
She's very young. She's very young-minded.
how old is she in the show?
I'm going to give her about 26, 27.
Oh, that's
She's in her 20s, early. Yeah.
I'm going to say mid. We'll go mid 20s. We're going to look this up to actually find age, since we're talking age. But because of the way she acts, we're just putting her young-minded.
Yeah, that's fine.
Period.
Right, because she will mess a good thing up. Like someone could be on the verge of helping her out of this situation.
Yes.
And she will mess it up.
Oh no.
Yes.
And take us back to square one.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like that'd be frustrating to watch as a fan.
It was.
Yeah.
And she's very much as with the guy that she slept with that ended up getting killed. As he's in her head, she's very much in her own head as well.
Yeah, with him.
And with him, but with herself too.
Right.
Meaning the actions that she's taking, the things that she's doing and how she's messing up stuff, because she's in her own head.
And
people are giving her, advice, trying to tell her how to navigate through this safely. And right when she gets to a point of being okay and safely through this, she'll get inquisitive again, and then she'll go digging and end up messing it up, making it worse.
Yep.
And now having to get herself dug out of this new hole she's dug herself in.
That's crazy.
But what you're going to see throughout the series is that she's really messed up. And you're going to see why.
Childhood stuff?
Yes. All of these childhood traumas. So.
And you know what? And even bigger than that, it's not even so much her. Her brother is even more messed up.
Which he should be.
Is he a flight attendant too?
The brother's not a flight attendant.
No.
The brother has had to live under the shadow of the sister.
Yes.
Her.
And and they both were raised by their dad
And mom.
and mom.
So she had some point.
So she was the apple of dad's eye.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
she's the favorite.
Yes.
She was the apple of dad's eye, and the dad was wishing she was more so the boy.
And the boy was the daughter.
Right.
See,
He treated his son so horrible, so terrible.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to why that whole concept of therapy is so important. Because geez, man, like
They definitely both need it.
yeah, and being in your own head. Like if you're someone that's like in your own head, even if you're a listener, if you're someone that's always in your own head, you gotta talk to somebody
Exactly.
that knows something. Like the last thing you need is some imaginary. Well, I don't know if he's imaginary because we did see the guy. The last thing you need is somebody trying to tell you where to go to find the answer to your problems, and they're not even alive anymore.
And then with her, not only is he there, but it's also her in different stages of her life.
Yeah.
So her as a child,
Yeah.
her as, you know what I'm saying, different.
So you get to, the show does a really good job of really bringing you into the mindset of where she is, you know, as far as why she does things a certain way,
Right.
you know, things of that nature. The show, I mean, it's a really good show. I mean, it definitely will keep you engaged the whole time while you're watching it. And I'm just like, wow, yeah, this is really good. And then, you know, once it gets to a point of, you know, it being found out who, you know, has committed the murder and things of that nature. Once it gets to that, then you think it's pretty much done. You know, like this is a 1-season show. This thing ain't going no more than this right here. But it takes on to a whole nother aspect based on the things that she does and the way this all plays out. She gets picked up to now help out the CIA.
Oh, that's a turn.
And they use her as kind of like an informant to go and get information. But of course, as she does,
They tell her to just do certain things. Only do this, only do that.
Yeah.
But she can't just stop there.
nah, she got to take it one step further.
no.
Now, you know, they used to say, if you give us an inch, we'll take a mile. You give her an inch, she's going to take
Yes.
But you know, shame on, you said the FBI or CIA?
CIA.
Shame on the CIA, you know, because they know she off, you know?
Because you know they did they did all the tests. Remember they talked about it in her profile. This.
Yeah.
So they know she's messed up.
But there's a certain quirkiness about her that gets what you need.
Oh,
Right.
And so they depend on that part of her.
That's the upside.
I think
Yeah.
because she's so likable,
Yeah.
and so people automatically open up to her.
Well, she's cute and blonde.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
you know,
Okay.
I mean,
That's real big today.
yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
That's
cute
been real
and
big for the
blonde.
last 40 years or something.
Yeah. And approachable.
Yes. Yes.
To be down to earth and approachable, not standoffish,
Right.
things of that nature. You know, it's welcoming. Anybody's going to warm up to that in whatever capacity,
And they
especially
do.
if you're a guy and you know you like pretty women, and a pretty woman is nice to you. You're gonna soften up.
And flight attendants tend to have really good personalities as well.
And she
like-
has a great personality.
She does, yeah. She's got a nice open personality.
Yes.
So you know, so those things work for her. So the CIA sees that part of it. So it's just a matter of keeping her wrangled in and, you know, kind of keeping her in bounds.
Yeah.
You know, so they got bumper rails up for her.
Because they know she gonna go off rails.
Yes.
She's
They
the-
know she's gonna go off
Yes.
the rails, so they got the
Yes.
bumper rails up for her. So as she's bouncing, there's some saving grace to keep her from like just totally messing everything up.
Right.
Man, but when I say it's a really good show, it's one of the reasons why we're talking about it and we're giving the way
You
we
said it's
see
the
it.
second season that just came out.
It's the second season that's out. You know, it's out. Yeah, and I'm just now getting into the second season because I had to play catch up.
I'm done.
Yeah, Kawana done passed me, and I introduced
Solid
her to
second
the show. Yeah, so you know, but it's all good though. It is all good. And the next show we're gonna talk about, we're gonna segue and move on in. They're asking if we're checking the live chat. Yes, we are checking the live chat. So we're gonna send a yes back right quick. Yes, and shout out to the scented candle people that has a nice candle, and to the incense people. You know, shouts
we
out to
have a
them.
whole
I'm loving it.
ambiance
Yes, man,
here.
we got a whole ambiance happening
Yes.
right now.
And the
I'm
candle's
feeling-
doing it.
I'm feeling real tropical right now.
Man,
You know,
I'm feeling real good.
What was the name of the drink? The mango
the mango
Colada.
colada.
mango colada. It's
Yes.
very mango colada
Yes.
on the pod today.
Actually, we got island vibes happening right now. You got island colors, or you know, in your black and proud shirt. You know, you
Shout out to
kinda-
Pride Month.
Yeah, shout out
out
to
Pride Month for that.
And that's why I
yes.
did it. I was like, shoot, it's Pride Month.
There you go.
Let me go ahead.
There you go.
There you go. Mango colada, sangria lemonade, and a polar cup with Dr. Up. There we go. So
Yeah, for the listeners out there too, if you know any good drinks to mix with lemonade, because I'm not really much of a drinker, but if you know any good drinks to mix with lemonade,
let us know.
Yeah. Say something.
Please type it in the comments. Let
Say
us know.
something.
Yep.
So yes, but we're gonna keep moving, and we're gonna move on to our next show, which is Queen of the South.
My.
Queen of the South. They said I just realized who was sitting on the right side. What up, PCJC?
Who said that?
That is Alex Muhammad.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
What's going on?
Hey,
Welcome
shout out
to the
Alex.
show. Yes, shout out.
Hi.
And so Alex says vodka, lavender, and lemonade.
Okay, you got that, Cody?
Yeah, I went to this place called Booyah Ramen down in off Central, in St. Pete, downtown St. Pete, and they make their own lemonade. Like I think they like double filter it.
Oh wow!
Put it on the rocks and whatever.
Wow. And what's it called? Booyah Cafe?
Yeah, Booyah Ramen.
Booyah Ramen.
Yeah. I love going. I get that duck ramen all the time. Okay. So I asked them, every restaurant I go to, some of my friends, don't like it, but whatever, right? Every time I go to a restaurant, I always have to ask, do you guys make your own lemonade? Because lemonade is just one of those drinks. Like you're not gonna ask, "Hey, do you guys make your own Coke?" Lemonade is something that everybody got their own variation.
Right.
Right.
So when I asked that, they say, "Yeah, we make our own lemonade. We have an alcoholic version and a non-alcoholic version." And I'm feeling, I'm grown.
Right.
Give me the alcoholic version. What you guys got?
Let me see what that tastes like.
So what they did was they mixed it with a black cherry vodka.
Okay.
I forgot what the name of it was. I think he said vodka and lavender.
Vodka lavender, yeah.
So when I had it, I'm like, ooh, this is special.
Yeah.
Oh, not special.
Special.
Not special.
Booyah Ramen, ladies and gentlemen.
It was pretty
right
subtle,
here
too.
in St. Pete. And it was subtle. Okay. All right, I got you.
I was still enjoying the lemonade, and because I know vodka, from what I know, vodka's pretty strong.
Yeah.
It's pretty strong. So when I had it, I'm like, it's like a sneak up on you, type of thing. But it was good.
Well, you know what? Here at the Urban Drinkery, if you talk about the sneak up on yous, this is this is the home base for the sneak up on you.
I'm a witness.
This is man.
Because it's coming.
Yes, the Urban Drinkery, the drinks, they go down smooth and they tap you later. Like, hey buddy, how you doing? But anyway, all right, so we're gonna keep it going with the shows. And for those of y'all who are out there, Alex, anyone else who's watching with us, tell us what shows you're watching right now that you're like really into, original series shows that you're really into. We know about the NBA playoffs, and we're gonna be talking about that a little bit tonight as well, because that's one of the shows that we're watching, and we definitely finna get down and talk about the way we see it on that one. In fact, we're gonna watch the recap of last night's game. We're gonna watch.
You sure you want to recap that?
Yeah, I want to recap that because I want to point a few things out while we recap.
For sure.
And in that recap and pointing some things out, I am also going to predict what the next game's going to look like based on this recap.
Don't do it.
But that's all right. So we're gonna get to NBA playoffs.
You see some things in the recap where you're like, that should have been called. I don't even know why that's a highlight.
Right. See, so we're gonna
don't
get
even
there.
try.
We're gonna get to talking about the championship here in a little bit. But before we do, a couple more shows that we need to talk about and introduce you to, since you probably have not seen them, especially since you're not seen Power. How do you not? I mean,
see what you did?
How?
I didn't know what to say.
Well, we gotta circle back to that, but. You need to catch up. You need to get in on Power.
I told him that.
I'm telling you, man, it's worth it. I mean, the 6 seasons of Power itself, all the way into Power Book 2.
I told him all these spin-offs.
series.
Yes, all the spin-offs, Raising Kanan, Force, all that. I mean, look, man, once you get in, you're going to be hooked. I promise a binge watch is going to happen. You're going to be part of the universe. Yes. But the next show that we were talking about Queen of the South.
This has become one of my all-time favorite shows.
Yeah?
This show is great with the capital G.
Capital G. She's giving it the 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
For great. Yes.
I mean, listen.
Yeah.
I'm on season 3 and my.
Yeah. So Queen of the South, it's been out for a bit. It's been on USA,
right?
And now it's on Netflix.
I know about this.
Yes, and Queen of the South definitely. As we're playing right now, we are showing. Let's get rid of these comments.
Because she started off as like
She started off
at the bottom.
At the bottom.
Yeah, she was
Yes.
having to
but
swallow
she's so smart
Yes,
that she's quickly moving up.
she's learning the game. She's learning the
And-
game, and it's making sense to her. And she is.
The whole show is just
Yeah.
excellent. The women are doing the damn thing.
This
Yeah.
came out in like 2016 or something, like that.
Something
yeah,
like that,
Something
yes.
like that.
I remember me and my uncle. My uncle watches all the movies out there. Like he's got everything. Like I got people in my family that are just like they have libraries in their house.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Movies and books or whatever.
Yeah.
He's one of them. And I remember he told me, he said, we're gonna watch this show, because I think at the time we were watching this show called Billions.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Billions.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
another show
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
eventually talk about, because I love that.
Solid show. So
Solid
when
show, yes.
so when they would have these like breaks, because the season's over,
Right.
because like HBO
Right.
they had. So we picked this up, and it was like like we were glued to the seats.
And that's what
Yeah.
it is. You're glued to it. You can't just watch one show and get up and go do something else.
Yeah.
You have to stay there for several of them.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
And I mean, it's still, even though you know about it, it still gets me how they smuggle drugs through people.
That's nuts.
I mean,
That's nuts.
I mean,
And she was a G. She swallowed like
Right.
20 bags.
Yeah, sure,
Right.
yeah.
20.
I'm like, what in the world? I mean,
You think people, because 20 bags is a lot of bags.
That's
I
a
know
lot.
it's a story, but do you really think you're like, what do you think the limit is? Like maybe like
That's what I was wondering, because she was trying to stop and it was like more.
more. Yeah. I do
more.
remember that scene.
And I was like, how many more they gonna make her swallow?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things to where I don't want to do one,
Me, no.
let alone 20. Jam, would you? Okay, Jam already said automatically
And
said
then,
no.
and then right before she volunteered to
Yeah.
do it, someone had just died from doing it.
Trying to befriend her.
Yes.
Talking about, I know you're new here, and and basically she said, "Let
beat
me
down.
show you the ropes."
It beat down.
And she gave the whole McDowell speech from Coming to
Yes.
America,
And then
to where
just-
if you get good at doing this, you can move up to where I am.
Yeah, and she literally.
I went from lettuce to fries. And she's like, you can go from getting slapped around to actually carrying the drugs in your body.
Thrown around.
And then she ended up dying minutes later.
Minutes later, literally just killed over.
Yeah, because
Right.
I think one of the bags opened
Burst
up and
inside of her.
Inside
Yeah.
of her.
Ooh, that's got to be scary to think about.
Right.
Hello.
And it's like, you got 20 in you. What are the chances, And then how long have those bags been inside of her?
But then remember they said too, like you only have a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Right.
So she had to get on that plane, get to
Go.
wherever she was going,
And get them
and
out.
get them out.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess when they brought the one girl who was trying to show her the ropes, I guess when they brought her back, they forgot about her or something.
I don't know what happened.
Because she's so sitting there talking to
She
her.
went from the
And
top
next thing
to-
you know, and then no sooner, maybe she just got back, because no sooner than she keeled over and died, and she's screaming for help, for somebody to come help her. They scoop her up, throw her on a table, and they immediately cut her stomach open and start pulling the bags.
Bags out, they did.
I feel like that's a common death in that show.
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah, a pretty
Yeah.
common death. Like,
And then they was mad at the bag that bust inside her, because
Yep.
it was less the number that they were
Yep.
expecting.
They didn't care that she just passed
Just an
away.
Right.
It was, yeah,
She was
that's
just
what
an
she
object.
just an
that's
object.
it.
It's baggage.
Yeah.
Just an object. And so,
How do you check for that? And like, if you like, could you imagine like having to work at the airport and it was your group that let like 10 people go with like, like what
Yeah.
do you say to your boss? She's like,
Right.
look, it was in their stomach. What do you want me to do?
yeah, I mean, but now going through the x-ray machines, when you go and do your hands up like that,
Yeah.
that's they're looking inside you. They are x-raying your body to see what's in there.
So you just get like a dose of radioactive light just getting hit by you.
Pretty much. And it's like, hey, if you want to get by here,
you got to get.
You got to pass through it, right?
Yeah.
You got to get this cancer.
You got to get a dose of this cancer.
You got to get a dose, and hopefully your
Hopefully you get
immune
through.
system, will be strong enough to fight it,
Right.
and put some you got some antibodies.
But
in you.
listen, how many times they go through that?
Yeah, this is true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Several times.
But the way if this was a video game, the way she achieves boss level, is a remarkable thing to watch and see. And one of the cool things that I like about the show is that you can take it and almost apply it to the entrepreneurial drive, to get to some level of success, and how sharp your mind has to be to maneuver and really pay attention to details, because that's how she was able to really move up the ranks. She paid attention to details. She paid attention to people. She paid attention to certain patterns, things of that nature, and it helped her to really learn how to navigate through this system and work her way up
and she's you root for Teresa, because she, even though she's doing wrong, we know she's wrong. The trafficking drugs, we know this.
Trying to justify it.
Right, but you root for her because she tries to do it not the violent, horrible way that they do, that the drug czars do it. Yeah. She actually doesn't want to kill people. She doesn't, all the horrible things that you see, she doesn't want to do those things.
Nah.
She wants to find another way to do them.
Right.
Even though I'm still going to traffic drugs, I want to.
Just want to make sure it's less people hurt as possible in the process of me.
So you root for her.
That's all right though. Like I said, I know I saw a little bit of it. I mean, I think because from I believe how they set up the scenes is like they show her like the show, her coming is a flashback. It's like a big flashback.
It is.
So you'll see her in,
because the very first show is probably like the last show.
Yeah, like she dies in it or something.
Something like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The very first show, she actually gets shot, and then it just goes back to all those flashbacks.
I think that's what
of
got
her coming up.
I think that's what got us in.
Yeah.
Because we saw the previews first, and then you like, oh, we finna see this come up, and then the first episode, I think she gets shot.
Because she's like, my name is Teresa Mendoza.
Yep.
Da, 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 da. And then
took out.
And then her future self talking to her. She's seeing her future self talking to her, which is kind of cool as
that's
well.
Slick. Yeah.
Telling her this is what you have to go through, to get to here. And her seeing that's
she wills her own a lot of times. She's like, get up.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
This is where you reinvent yourself.
If only we can do that in real life. We can, I guess technically, when you dive into your mind and go into the future mentally and all that, but you would like it if it was a little bit more like that.
Right.
Yeah, it would save us a lot of trouble.
Yeah. It would.
It would save us a whole lot.
Make different decisions.
Yes. Make
your future
a
self
lot of different decisions.
Because some of the decisions that she's about to make, her future self was like, Teresa, and then the whole scene will change.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Exactly. So how many seasons in is it now? Because I know it's been about what?
It's like how many seasons? 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's about that many seasons. Yeah.
And it's not on USA anymore. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Alex, he says he's been doing nothing but teaching and coaching. He's got 2 years of media to catch up on, but he has 2 seasons of All-American, and he's been watching the Dark Side of the Ring wrestling documentary series.
Okay.
So that's cool. And he's been watching Colin in Black and White. So
that's
actually
All-American. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Excellent show.
Yeah, All-American. And I believe Tay Diggs is
he's the coach in
All-American.
Yeah. Very good show.
Yeah, and it really goes into high school football. And that's a big thing. high school, college, even little league football is like a huge thing,
deal.
you know,
Yes.
especially around here. And I know out in LA and other cities.
Because remember, like Snoop Dogg and some other people had their own football
But their own teams, yeah. They bought the uniforms and everything.
Exactly.
So it is a really good show that gives you a real nice inside look to the locker room, to the mindsets of what it takes to be a coach of high school kids that come from different backgrounds,
right?
You know, and trying to play a sport, you know, and trying to overcome the challenges and obstacles of being young and good at something, you know, or trying to be young and good at something. And it just really hits on a lot of topics, a lot of personal relationship issues that come to play from being a young man trying to be a man but not quite have all of the things in you to be a man yet, but you're trying to step up to that level to a man who's already been there,
right.
And you know, and so go ahead.
And then with him being who he is, his community puts a lot of pressure on him to
be a certain way.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need you to be this way in order for our community to stand up and be recognized and whatever.
Yeah.
He's just 17.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you want him to be the next
A lot of pressure.
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying?
You
It's
can't
like,
expect that of a 17-year-old.
But they do.
But you know what? But because of
you have to save the high school.
yeah, I mean, and because of how society is now, and because of the lack of true role models anymore, you know, you have younger kids that have access to more things now. You know, they have access to, you know, so the things that we had to like wait to come out, you know, or conversations and topics of life issues, things of that nature that we had to wait to get to, you know, in order to experience and learn about and see. It's in everything now.
Yeah.
All the way down to anime. If you watch anime, them anime stories, they be so deep.
Yeah,
it's like, oh my gosh, this is a cartoon. You know, cartoon used to be very surface, you know, deal with moral things, but
Not
moral
anymore.
things age appropriate. Now, you got broken homes and shows for 5-year-olds.
Even the villains in these animes are just like, you can't even say, man. All you can say is like, I get it. You know?
Right. I understand.
Like,
when you see, especially when they give you the backstory on what made them turn into that, and you start looking at the family issues, the childhood issues, you know, that you was orphaned at a certain age, and then you learn that you were orphaned, and it's like, you know, how do you live with the fact that you now know somebody didn't want you, you know, and then the place that you are at, they're treating you less than, you know,
right.
You know, they're giving you the bare minimums, and it's like inside you feel as though you deserve more, and then on top of that, you're living with the fact that somebody said they didn't want you, you know, and now here it is. You could have gave me the candy bar, but instead of giving me the candy bar, you give me the rice cake, you know, and you know I deserve the candy bar, but instead you still gave me the rice cake, and then you ate the candy bar in my face. And so it's like,
and I think those types of like, because my favorite type of villain is where they truly believe what they're doing is the right thing. You know, like they're like, I guess, like off topic, like since we're in movies, I guess like the Thanos type ordeal in the first movie, where I was like, ooh, I get it. You know, he wiping out half, but I get it. You know,
I was like, isn't there a better way?
It's like you don't have to do it like that though, Thanos. You know, but I mean, but I get it.
I just watched The Harder They Fall for the 50th time.
Yeah,
that's like one of my favorite
movie.
movies.
Yeah.
But with you saying that,
Idris Elba,
Rufus Buck, he had a great idea.
He did.
But
until all the way down to Killmonger in Black Panther.
Exactly.
It's like, you know, it's like,
oh man,
I get it.
Oh, please.
Right.
I get it. I'm with you until. It's always that until.
I was riding with him the whole way.
Until it's like, dang, man.
When he turned on everybody, I was like,
Yeah, because you
we
understood.
we this far.
understood.
we this far.
So Alex is also a football coach. You know, so he's actually, you know, so shows like All American, things of that nature, you know, he gets to watch it with a special eye because he's living it.
Is that the ask him if that's the Colin Kaepernick?
Colin Black, the documentary, yeah.
It is? Okay, okay.
Yeah, that documentary.
Okay.
But he was saying that Tay Diggs is the least convincing football coach. And he put least in all caps.
Oh my God. But I'm not a football coach.
Yes, and so him being a football coach, you know,
I thought he was good, but okay, I get it.
But you know what?
If you know, you know.
Exactly.
The show is called The Way We See It, and it's also the way you see it, which is why we're talking about
that's
it.
Why I'm like,
and we don't see eye to eye on everything.
No.
Like, especially these NBA playoffs, we definitely don't see eye to eye. But, you know.
Spicy.
Yeah. However, you know, Alex sees it as being a football coach that, you know what, he is the least convincing that he is a real football coach.
Wow.
So, you know, and you know what, as a football coach, there are certain elements, you know, being in those locker rooms, dealing with those kids in a real life capacity that you see. You know, there's a certain way you deal and handle certain things, you know, as a football coach. And so he's got a certain level of insight,
right.
You know.
That's why I said, I get it.
You know, and that's why, you know, you do consult a lot of these shows, especially because you're imitating life in these shows and movies. So they do bring on a lot of consulting. Like these shows we're talking about that has CIA and FBI and things of that nature, they have consultants that actually consult them.
Yeah.
Lawyer shows, you know, when you're talking about the law, you know, you can't just be throwing anything out there
all
because
of those, ER and all that.
Yes.
They have doctors.
They have their consultants, so
physicians and all that. You know, you're
right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna send the email to the All American show. And say y'all need to consult Alex Muhammad. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Ardell is in the house. Can we get a hand clap for our boy Ardell being in the house, ladies and gentlemen? Ardell is back, y'all. Ardell,
glad you made it safely.
Yes. He is a senior show producer around here, and he has definitely, been missed. You know, he's been traveling around the world and but he's back. He is back, ladies and gentlemen. But we just had to give him a quick shout out since he showed up in the house.
Yep.
And so shows like All American, things of that nature. It is really good sometimes to hear how people who are actually doing these things, you know, how they view these shows, and it really helps give some level of authenticity to it, you know, to really know. And I would love to actually be sitting there with them while watching it, for them to point out those things, you know.
If it's just Tay Diggs, then the rest of the show should feel pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
He's the only one.
He's the only one he called out.
You know, but that's also because he is a coach.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's like me looking at a show and I'm looking at another actor, and if I see bad acting, you know, or bad acting choices, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to say, you know, or even from a production standpoint, if I see certain things in a show from a technical aspect, I'm gonna call it out, and I got people mad at me who, I do that all the time. I hate it, you know.
I get it,
because once you get on the back end of this, you understand what it takes to make these things happen. So, you know, and there's this part of me being on the independent side of things that want to see certain mistakes made, you know, in the real world of movies and television, because with that, it brings it down to a level of almost like a human level, right? Because what we're watching is on a superhero level, and when you see that there's a glimpse of humanness in this, it's like,
I see what you mean.
I can be a hero.
That could be.
I can still be a hero, or I'm not the only one. You know,
it kind of makes it like, I don't have to be perfect, even though this looks perfect to the untrained eye.
Yes.
You know, and since
because
you're
that
working,
is in essence perfection. And if that has a mistake in it that someone can easily catch, then okay, I'm not that far off. Right. You know, 100%. I'm not. Yeah. So it makes it a lot more humanizes it. Yeah, it humanizes it, and it just gives you more inspiration to continue to know you're on the right path.
And I guess also another thing that on top of that is the fact that if you can identify it as someone that's a peer, because that's what you essentially are, as a peer to these people, or to these companies that are doing these or making these movies. Since you consider yourself a peer, you were looking at it like, oh wow, I was able to recognize that mistake. That means I'm advancing in the space where my eye is like, oh, got it, got it. You know, opposed to someone that's not in the space. We're like, man, that was a crazy movie. You see those cuts?
Yeah,
that was amazing.
That was amazing. I love
saw the angle they got.
Yes. And so, and even watching certain actors do certain things that I would have thought to have done. Like in certain moments, I'm like, that's what I would have did. That's exactly what I would have done. So to know that I'm not far off, from any of it, and you're closer than further.
Right.
And so I really enjoy that part of it, but it does get annoying when you're sitting watching a show with someone who is untrained, in what they're watching, and you're like, man, did you not see that? And they're like, see what? He was on that side the first time, and now he's over there.
Wow.
It's the same day.
I think there's a famous, viral video that went out with Ray J. I think it was on Love and Hip Hop. I don't know the show.
Yeah.
I think it was Love and Hip Hop. If that's what Ray J was on.
Yeah.
And his hat, every time they would go back, because it was him having a conversation with someone, every time they went back to Ray J, his beanie was positioned
different
in a different way.
I think they brought that up.
Yeah.
Because I think that was a big deal or something.
Oh, huge deal.
It was. I remember that.
But those reality shows, they are scripted to a degree. So, and Ardell, I'm sure, can chime in on this with reality shows, but they are scripted to a degree to where they give the concepts. So if this was a reality show, they say, all right, they put you in the location. And in the location, they'll probably tell you, hey, you guys, you got a show getting ready to come up on your podcast. You're going to talk about these specific shows. And then they'll say, and then they won't tell you that Ardell, the person who is the producer you love to hate because he always got something to say, is going to show up and now take over for Jam and now run the show. And they don't tell you that part. So you going about doing your thing, la 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 la, and all of a sudden Ardell shows up. Dun, dun, dun. Now they're like, let's go. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. That's all that is.
And then when it gets out of hand, they'll cut, clear it all up, and say, all right, hey, you guys, y'all took that a little bit too far. Let's do the same thing, but can we not break any glasses this time?
Oh, I would think that they would hang on to the breaking of the glasses because it's so raw.
To a degree, but when you're in somebody's establishment and it's their glasses,
got it. So so let me ask you. Since you're in the space of directing, the Ray J situation. Mm-hmm. Since it's such a big network that did that, do you think that because it is entertainment that they did that on purpose, perhaps for someone that has a more trained eye to recognize, hey, yo, look, this is off?
Nah.
So you think that was totally, because it seemed pretty ridiculous how it was, how that.
I mean, the fact that it actually took somebody to actually pause and point that out, because literally that's what you have to do. You literally have to stop something and point it out. Most of the stuff that we see on YouTube and things of that nature, where they're bringing out different Easter eggs and all that good stuff, they pause. That's somebody that's combing through and said, something looks off about that, or something looks interesting about.
That's not who recognized it. It was the fans that recognized it.
And that's what I'm saying. So even the fans, because the biggest thing that allows these things to happen is the fact that we now have the power and ability to pause and rewind and fast forward.
Right.
So we now can control exactly what we see. So now a lot of the mistakes that don't get caught is because you only get one time at it. You only see a movie one time. You only have that one time experience to talk about. But when you watch it over and over and over and over, you pick up different things. It's like when you watch a movie for a second time, you see more things in it, story wise, that you didn't see the first time.
Right.
Because now your mind has an idea of what you are watching So now you're more open to receiving newer things versus with it all being brand new. It's all flooding your mind at once.
Taking it all in.
You know, and if that's the only opportunity you got for it, then that's all you got.
I got a question. Mr. Producer. Why on these reality shows, every time someone will come up and be like, I don't like the way they portrayed me. That's not what I put out there.
Oh, you don't have any control over the editing.
Yeah.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
You don't have any control. And there's people who get paid outside of the reality TV show
Yeah.
to literally watch and depict these, to make news stories out of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's when you find somebody.
So yeah, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, like
Because you
Ardell
have
was
so
saying.
many of these characters, these people, real life people saying that's not who I am.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
That's gotta suck.
it does. It does.
But
When-
you're acting, you know?
Yeah. And it's an honor that someone values you credible enough to want to portray you. It's another thing for them to accurately portray you, but it's difficult to accurately portray a person that's not the person, because there's certain aspects of that person that the variables change, you know, based on the situation that you put them in. So the ones that we see people in are in front of the scenes. And for those who've been behind the scenes, they have certain information up to a certain point, because none of us are with each other 24 hours in a day. Even if we're in the same room, there are moments like when you go to the bathroom, it's just you know,
right.
and what happens between that time that you go in and come out, it's just you.
Right.
So those there are unseen things that take place in our lives that you have to somehow, when you're retelling the story, you got to fill in that gap. So you got to fill in that gap with things that could possibly make sense. You know, they may not be the exact thing that led up to that, but for us and us learning of a story, we have to put things in there that the person possibly could have done that led to them doing this or led to this conversation happening or things of that nature.
And you also got to take into consideration too, as the writer or director, they don't really know these people. They just know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, you're assigned to it. And then over time you start to see a little bit more personality and the things that they do. I think the awesome example of that was like I think it was a Family Guy episode where, you know, this is a greased up guy, the greased up deaf guy who runs around or whatever. And they had a behind the scenes moment of what goes on behind the scenes. A Family Guy, it was its own episode. And the greased up deaf guy he has the simplest of lines. He started to address like a more sophisticated issue where, you know, he was speaking different. His voice was way deeper and all that type of stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's Family Guy, but it's very similar in that same space where it's like, you don't really know the person. It's just a screen, you know, it's just a story. And then once they write the story out, however you're perceived on camera, it's completely out of your control. It's up to the editor, up to the writer.
It's coming out now on these reality shows like Real Housewives of Atlanta, where a new character, a new person, I should say, will be introduced to the group as me and Cody are best friends.
Yeah.
But in real life,
they're not best friends.
they're not best friends.
Stand her.
They don't even hang out or anything.
Yeah, but you know, it's for show ratings. You know, there's a lot that goes on, you know, behind the scenes as far as what makes this a show, which is why it's called a reality show. And a show has to give you some level of entertainment.
Right.
And without that, we're not watching. You know, there is no sense of intrigue. And if the drama's not there, you know, we really are not watching.
Right.
You know, because that's what we're drawn to. We're drawn to something we can laugh at, something we can point at to say, ooh, that's just dead wrong.
Entertainment.
You know, right. Entertainment. And something, the bigger part of all of it is something to make us feel better about ourselves.
That's the
end
truth.
of the day.
That's the
you
truth.
know, because we're looking at people, you know, do messed up things.
I ain't that.
Right. And we see it and we're able to point it out, you know, but at the end of the day, the same way you pointing at them, if somebody microscoped you, you know, all of a sudden it's like, ooh, Okay, but we ain't talking about me. We talking about, you know what I'm saying? So it just boils down into that. But you know what? Time is moving. And I know this next topic, and we got some other shows that we need to hit, but this next topic is going to take some time, and especially now that Ardell's in the house, I'm hoping Ardell's on the right side of this whole thing. But we're going to talk about the NBA championship. And Jam, can you bring up the highlight clips of the championship? We don't have time, so we're going to come back to this. Because we're out of time. Jam just said we out of time.
Oh man,
we didn't get. Ardell, why you didn't come earlier, man?
Well, we need to see what side he on.
I like the unk. That's pretty cool. There it is.
Like, who I think I was gonna win.
Who are you going for?
I have no dog in the fight, but the Celtics.
Come on! Oh man!
Yeah, the Celtics they match up.
Oh gosh,
I'm
ladies and
just saying,
gentlemen.
and I'm with Ardell. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? But come on now, let the young boys get
I'm a Heat
this.
fan, but Boston is.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show.
I'll save my team for next time.
Shout out to Cody for being with us on today.
And he can come back because he's a Kobe fan. He's a Kobe fan. He can come back.
Mamba mentality all
That's
day.
right.
Oh my gosh.
That's right.
I am Cranston Cumberbatch,
I'm Kawana Norman.
and this is the way we see it. See y'all next week.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio. Home of your throwback jams.
This is way we see it. See it. This is way we see it. See it. This is. This is way we see it, see it. This is way we see it. This is way we see it, see it. This is way we. This is. This is the way we see it, see it. This is the way we see it. This is the way we see it, see it. This is the way we see it, see it.